If you're trying to decide between Lisbon and Bali as your base for building your remote company, this video will save you months of research and prevent you from making the wrong choice. I've lived in Lisbon 3 separate times in my entrepreneurial journey. One time 1 month, one time 2 months, and one time 1 month. At completely different stages of building my companies. And I've also been based in Bali on and off for the past 6 months. This is not a tourist comparison. This is a builder's comparison. From someone who actually lived in both places trying to make something happen with their own company while building it. Here is why this comparison matters more than most people make it out to. Both cities attract a very specific type of person. The location-independent entrepreneurs, the remote workers, the person who decided that the 9 to 5 was not for them. But both cities attract slightly different versions of those persons. And the environment you're in depends on how fast you will grow, who you meet, how productive you are. So let's go through this properly. Community, costs, productivity, lifestyle, and an honest verdict in the end. Let's start with a thing that either makes or breaks your entire experience in both cities: the people you'll be around. Lisbon. The community in Lisbon is well organized. There are real events like WebSummit, one of the biggest tech conferences in the world, real meetups every single week. There's also a proper startup culture with a real network of investors bounded to it that honestly surprised me a bit. And because it's Europe, the cost of living is slightly higher than in Southeast Asia. That does filter out the people that are just vibing and calling it a business, which you have a lot of in Bali. You get more remote workers, more people with actual jobs, or established freelancing careers. The downside, and this is personal, I found it harder to get into the bubble of high achievers in Lisbon. The people that were doing really big things were there, but finding them took more effort for me. There's also less of a gym and wellness culture tied in there in the entrepreneurial scene. And in Lisbon, the social life and the entrepreneurial life feels a bit more separate. Bali's community of builders are unlike anything else I've experienced anywhere before. BeWork, the co-working that I go to, where I pay 200 euros a month, filters people purely by the fact that they're willing to invest in a serious workspace. The people in BeWork are actually building things, or in other co-workings. The Bali Brotherhood, where you can meet a lot of people, and also their paid community, Brotherhood in Business, is a really nice club where you can tune into some really high value individuals. They attract people that flew in from Dubai, or serious builders from all over the world. And honestly, I found it easier to meet high quality people in Bali than anywhere else. And to be fair, I haven't been to Dubai before. I've heard there it's really good as well. And the health and wellness culture is tied directly into the whole entrepreneurial scene. So all the gyms are also networking opportunities when you go to one of the more expensive gyms and go into the sauna in the evening. The honest caveat, Bali is full of entrepreneurs as well. People who want to look like they're building, or just want to look good in general, but don't have that much going on, or are just very comfortable with living a good life with a lower income. So in Bali, you have to be a bit more intentional of where you show up. For me personally, the winner is Bali, but only if you show up to the right places. Now, when it comes to cost of living, here is the honest breakdown. Since I actually lived in both places, both cities will cost you between 2 to 3k a month if you live comfortably. But here's the difference. In Lisbon, you're spending 2 to 3k and you get Europe quality of life. Good supermarkets, better infrastructure, a more developed city. You'll probably cook some of your meals, which takes time, but it also gives you control of what you eat. In Bali, you're spending 2 to 3k a month and you get a tropical quality of life. Better gyms, better accommodations for the same price. You don't cook, you don't clean, you don't do laundry, and that mental space, at least for me, goes straight back into work. And if you're really disciplined about it in Bali, you can get by for 1,500 euros a month and still genuinely have a good life. That's much harder to do in Lisbon. The quality of what you get for your money in Bali is simply higher. So for me, the winner there is Bali, for the runway that you get from being here, and that your euros or dollars are simply worth more. Now, the one that actually matters most when you're building something. Which city makes you more productive and why? Bali wins this one specifically for me. The time zone. In Lisbon, because you're in Europe, you're working hours that are more aligned with the European 9 to 6, which sounds fine until you realize that you lose your mornings to the algorithm of people scheduling calls early in the morning. This really depends if you work American hours or European hours. I have clients in both Europe and America. In Bali, with the time zone difference, your mornings are completely free. Nobody is emailing you at 8 in the morning. Nobody needs a call until the afternoon. So from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m., you can go to a gym, you can go to a run club, you can do some deep work, you can have a nice breakfast, all uninterrupted. Then from 11 a.m., you open up for calls, meetings, networking, client work. And if you have American clients or clients in Europe, you sometimes need to pull an all-nighter or like stay up later at night. But personally, I don't mind that because you also start later. And the difference is it's a choice. It's not forced upon you through someone else's time zone. And you still have your mornings off. Beyond the time zones, the people around me in Bali are work obsessed in a way that's contagious. When everyone around you is building something, staying in the co-working until 11 at midnight doesn't feel weird. We even have this joke that if you work past 9, you're in the power hour. It feels quite normal. And the environment compounds your output in a way that's harder to quantify, but impossible to miss. Winner, Bali. For me, the time zone and the environment makes a difference. And then when it comes to lifestyle and mental health, this one is just a bit more balanced. And I want to be honest about this. Both cities are really good for your lifestyle, for your mental health. Lisbon, for example, has culture, incredible food, beautiful architecture, a social scene that goes beyond just work. So when it comes to work-life balance, Lisbon wins clearly. Also the fact like I'm Dutch, my family's in the Netherlands. From Lisbon, I can be home within 3 hours on a cheap flight. From Bali, it's at least 14 hours. Both my brothers just bought a house recently and I haven't seen them in person. There's a family weekend every single year. Bungalows, aunts, uncles, nephews, and I've missed it for the second time in a row. That's the real cost of being based in Bali that no one really puts into a comparison video. But also this depends. If you're an American, for example, you will still pay this cost if you're in Bali or Lisbon. But if you're in Europe, Lisbon makes more sense if this stuff really matters to you. So for this one, I have to say that Lisbon is the winner because it just provides a bit more work-life balance. And for me personally, it's also closer to my family with the European lifestyle. So now the big winner, Lisbon or Bali. Here's how I would make the decision if I were you. Choose Bali if you want to lock in and build. If you're early stage with limited budget and need maximum runway. You want to be surrounded by people that are obsessed with building. You prefer mornings and don't mind late calls. And if health and fitness are part of your daily routines and infrastructure. Choose Lisbon if you already have an income and want a slightly more relaxed pace without sacrificing quality of life. Being close to Europe, you want a more developed city with better infrastructure, and you prefer a lifestyle that separates work and private life a bit more balanced. And if you want to make it simple, if you want to go and build, go to Bali. If you want to live, go to Lisbon. Both are incredible. And I had a fantastic time and good friends in both places. But they both also serve a different season. And knowing which season you're in makes the decision way more obvious. If you found this useful, there's an entire breakdown about both Lisbon and Bali on my channel. So just have a look around. And if you like this video, then I'm 100% certain that you love this video right here as well. Really, click on it. Also, subscribe to this channel to follow my entire journey as a nomad entrepreneur building my companies remote. And if you want to hear me talk about only the business stuff with all the specifics and strategies that I implement for my clients, go to this YouTube channel right here. Now, as always, visionaries, take action, and I see you in the next one.